All right. We are, Baruch Hashem, recording in progress. So it means we're progressive. Or at least we're recording in progress. Anyhow. So we have established, until now, Be'ez Hashem Yisbarach, Torah Ches, Likutey Moharan II, second Chelek, that there is a voice that waters the garden. All the smells, all the good scents come, on that garden. They grow in this garden. And this smell is the Mazoina de Nishmasa, that's the sustenance of the Neshama. The Mazoina de Nishmasa, when the soul is being sustained, Nichna Mazoina Guf, that subdues the physicality of a person. In other words, a person should be healthy, both physically and spiritually, of course. But a person can either concentrate on the outside, which means Mazoina, the Gufa, the body. That's what the Goyim, that's the Goyisha Shkof. Everything is it's and whatever it is, that's a superfluous, that's the outside. So that's the thing that sustains the inside, the neshama. And when you feed the neshama, that subdues the feeding of the body. Now, the person that admonishes on the show has to put in them this kind of smell that will not leave them feeling worthless and horrible about themselves. But the voice of the proper admonisher will add good smell to them, will add Mazono de Nishmas. So the Rebbe says, let's just read this here. This kind of voice, to come to have this kind of voice that will feed the person's spirituality, will bring him closer to Kodesh Baruch Hu instead of driving him away. Amen. Well, did Philo, by davening, by praying, this is how you get it. Otherwise, you have to ask Kodesh Baruch Hu for it.
What?
We said the Teichacha depends not just the words, but the voice. The voice is to be corrected. So we explain that Begashmias, it is also easy to understand. You can say the same words, and the only difference is in the voice. And the words get totally different meaning. And we said it before. Like, where have you been? Where have you been? Where have you been? Where have you been? Now, this is Gashmiya still. This is psychological. This is already the Gashmiya. So you can see already that it's the voice that makes a difference. We're saying that you need to get a bechina of voice that makes a difference on a much higher spiritual level. So when a person gets such a voice, Moshe Rabbeinu had this voice, Yaakov Avinu had this voice. Also, you had this voice here just before Kol Yaakov. And when you get this voice, it means that the voice has a spiritual quality that even if a person points out the worst defects, but the other person, not only they don't get offended, but they become stronger. They smell good by themselves. you can imagine lahavdil, okay? When there is a commando unit, right? Commando unit, and they're running and doing whatever it is, and their commando says, "You call that running? You're a bunch of women." All right? They're not going to feel slighted. They're going to feel, yeah, you know. If regular soldiers were to run like this, nobody will tell them, yeah, you're running like women. Because we are expected, you know, to be like the commando. So when he tells you you're all like women, that insult is actually a compliment. You know what I'm saying? Okay. You've been there, done that. So what I'm saying is that there is a quality when a person has this quality on his voice, and that's, we said that quality comes, you know, the call is the nahar that comes out of Eden. Mashketa gan. The gan is where the smells, the scents grow, and the shamans grow. The voice is the river that comes out of Eden. And we said, we're going to say it later on, that it comes out of Chesed. That's why the voice itself, just the voice, doesn't matter the words, where he puts in a fantastic feeling by those who hear it. Because the voice itself comes from Chesed. לבוא לבחינת זה הכל, זה על התפילה. כי עיקר התפילה היא רחמים. I'm just going to read it through first, and then we'll to come to this voice, or that tefillah, by davening. כי עיקר התפילה הוא רחמים ותחנונים. Because the thing that comes out of tefillah is rachamim. Is tachanunim, is supplications, begging. וכאן הרחמים תלוי בדעת. רחמים depends on the דעת. כמו שכוסו לרבע להשחיתו בהר קודשי. כי מלארץ זה עש השם, כמים לים מכסים. The union of all this we're explaining now, Rabbeinu explaining now, all the pchinas that through which you're zeicha to tefillah. Tefillah is the way that you're zeicha to this call. The main tefillah, the racham, is racham yitolu b'das, as we said before, k'malaz de'ah, es Hashem, k'mal mechasim, because in the future, the das will become so great in Shako. Because the Rachmanis will spread through it because of the das. The main rachamim depends on the das. Is when people have no das is when they are very cruel. This is Shako. Yeah. Amen. Because the Ikar Das is through, the Ikar Rachamim is through the Das. When a person has real Das, then he has pure Rachamim. Now, the thing is that we have to understand what does Rachamim mean. Rachamim does not mean Chesed. Rachamim is a combination of Chesed and Gvura. Rachamim is when you are bestowing something to somebody with the idea of benefiting them, of doing them good. Chesed is just to give. Gvura is just to take. Rachamim is when you are giving, the idea is that the other side will receive from it, will flourish from it, will grow from it. Sometimes Rachamim states that you should not give. a child can want and want and want and want and want and want. He wants candies and this and this and that. There's said it. I was at the joke that you went to a kiddush in Antwerp. It says the kids got these packages. It says, you know, pekalach. The kids got packages. What?
You went there?
No. Somebody says that he went there and it says, you've never seen such pekalach in your life before. He says, these, you know, these candy snakes and, you know, and rubber candies and this and that and chocolates. Yeah, he says, this guy's probably a multi-millionaire. So I asked, who gave, you know, who's the one who's giving out this pekalach? So he says, it's the neighborhood's dentist. All right. So giving is not always rachamim. Rachamim is that you are weighing in your mind how much you should give and how much you should refrain from giving in order so that the receiver will get the benefit. And so what is the thing that weighs how much to give and how much to hold back? It's the das, right? In your own das, you're calculating how should you behave with the chesed and with the gvur according to this particular person, so that the result would be a chesed with him, will be a benefit for him. So racham is not. Racham is totally in the das. Chesed is not totally in the das. Chesed, you know, can just open up the gates, flood. Tsunami is also chesed. Too much, everybody drowns. When there's no das, too much chesed, as Rabbeinu will say later, is niyuf. Niyuf is midas chesed. It's about giving. Rabbeinu is really giving and taking. Anyhow, so sometimes Rabbeinu says as follows. Sometimes when the Sitra Achra, which is the side of the Tumah, Yonekas mina Rachmones, it sucks from the Rachmones. You want ceasefire in Gaza. We want, you know, humanitarian. I want it to be, you know, what do they say? Proportionate, right? That's the word they're using. When the Sitra Achra is the Mir Rachmanistic, what they do is they pull Rachmanis to themselves. They take ownership, as it were. They take stewardship of the Rachmanis, as it were. We have the big Rachmanim. And what that does, that lessens the Rachmanis by us. And even the little Rachmanis that still remains is really achzarius, is really cruelty. Because by them feeding off the Rachmanis, that spoils the entire Rachmanis. Rachmanis becomes cruelty. Because the mercy of the Rishonim is really cruelty. Well, come on, give him, you know, allow them or not, you know, they just be kind, you know, give, you know, whatever, as kids, do what you want as long as you don't hurt anybody. Remember that? 60s, remember that? You know, kids, do what you want as long as you don't hurt anybody, kind of that. What kind of nonsense? This is a rishis, it's not Rahmanis. It only looks like Rahmanis, but really it is cruelty. That little Rahmanis that still remains by us. It also is a pin of cruelty. Because it spoils. When Sitra Achra feeds off, it connects to the Rahmanis. Chas v'shalom. Zeh Pchina said about Am Yisrael during the time of the Churban. Gam Tanim Choltzrishad, the jackals, you know, they, you know, fed, you know, took out a teat to feed their young. Bas Ami leachzo kiyeni mamidbao. And Bas Ami became, was given to the cruel like ostriches in the desert. The pasuk says, in the pasuk itself, it doesn't make any sense. It said, jackals also fed their young, and because of that, Bas Ami, Am Israel, were given to Achzor, were given to cruel, like ostriches in the desert, don't have Rahmanas on their young. What does one to do with the other? The feeding the young is an act of Rahmanas. Why does it cause Am Israel, to be given over to cruelty? The answer is because it's Tanim, it's a Sitra Achra. Rahmanas Sitra Achra is not a Rahmanas, it's Achzorius. The Rahmanas Sitra Achra, when they have the teeth to feed, which is Rahmanas, and as it says, Pchinas Keshod Mishadai, and they said that this Indian of the Tanim also, took out a teeth to feed their young. Keshod Mishadai, the Shod is Pchinas Shadai. Like Shaka is the name Kodesh, Pchinas Rachmanas Dekdusha. This is how you call Rachmanas Dekdusha. It's Shem Shaka. This is Yaakov Avinu, when he sent the Shvatim. We saw in last week's parsha, he sends the Shvatim down to Mitzrayim, and he says, "V'kel Shaddai yitel lachem rachamim." That Kel Shaddai, the name Kel Shaddai, will give you rachamim. He didn't know it was Yosef yet, so he will give you rachamim. So Pchinas Teva. Why is Shaddai Pchinas Tefilo? Says Tefilo is the thing that Shidud Amarochis. Tefillah is something that changes the order of nature. The tefillah is rachamim. Validei shod mishadai. In other words, when the shadai, the rachmones, the sitra acha, it's not a real rachmones. Sitra acha b'chinas gam tanim cholzu shad. Validei zeh bas ami lachzo. My bas ami, the Am Yisrael, also were given to Achzor. Because when they take property, ownership, whatever you want to call it, of the Rachmanas, the little Rachmanas that still remains by us also become Achzorius. When the Rachmanas only looks like Rachmanas, but is really Achzorius, that damages the das. You see, it's a two-way street. We said before, what constitutes Rahmanas? The calculation of what will give the kind of wanted result that we want. That whoever it is receives from us will get the benefit. That's the definition of Rahmanas. What is the tool with which we use in order to form Rahmanas, in order to make the right kind of cheshbon, so we use the das, right? Okay, we said this is a person like this, that's a person like this. If I give him like this, it may cause him to behave or her to behave this way. If I have like that, it'll cause him or her to behave that way. So with your own das is the tool with which you formulate your Rahmanas. Now, but when the concept of Rahmanas itself has been spoiled and defected by a Sitra Achra feeding of it, the whole perception of what is Rahmanas becomes spoiled. Look, you should let kids.
Why is the Sitra Achra feed off the Rahman?
It takes something. And Rahmanas on these, these poor Gazans, whatever, don't bomb them. It's like it's the Hamas, it's called, yeah, but it's not, but nevertheless, you're the one who's doing the killing. That's called the Sitra Achra is using Rahmanas. And it turns it into Achzoris. What they want us to leave them, and they will do it again, 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 again. Right? See, the whole concept of Rahmanas has been defiled. Became tumid, became spoiled. Why did they say, listen, stop bombing and make a ceasefire? Why are they doing this? In their own mind, it's a form of Rahmanas, right? Because that's what they claim, right? That causes a deformed Rahmanas. It's not really Rahmanas. It looks like Rahmanas, but it ends up as cruelty. During the Second World War, everybody understood that. They bombed Germany, they bombed Japan. It's not only that it's no problem, they understood that the only way to perpetrate real Rahmanas is to actually act with Achzorius. Imagine people saying, but you can't bomb the people in Germany. People in Germany, it's not their fault that Hitler is there. What can they do? They cannot rebel against it. That's exactly what I'm saying. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So, but nobody said it then because the Rahmanas was not defiled yet. Now the Rahmanas is defiled. It looks the Rahmanas, but it really isn't. That changed the whole concept of Rahmanas. Now it becomes spoiled. It becomes deformed. What happens is that eventually it also deforms the Das. The Das originally is supposed to define Rahmanas. Here will be give, here will take away, and so forth and so on. But what happens is if the very understanding of what Rahmanas is becomes corrupted. Yeah,
like they just shut off the power. That's all they have to do instead of getting all these soldiers killed. Shut the power in the water. So peaceful. Civilians are getting it. They send them fuel.
But that's what they call Bas Amila Achzar. Perverted Rahmanas. Now the perverted Rahmanas already spoils the Das. The Das is the thing that formulates the Rahmanas. Once they're able to convince you that this is what Rahmanas is, your Das is already spoiled. Because that's that we can't let them, starve or this or that. You can't do that because it's like the corrupted Rahmanas corrupts the Das.
Doesn't make sense. But I don't know to what degree we have to show Rahmanas.
Okay, now this is the point. Validation is Kalga Rahmanas. When the Rahmanas becomes corrupted, it becomes cruelty. Anybody who gets angry, his chokhmah leaves him. Then the das shrinks, becomes smaller. Becomes mechin de katnus. Then the Sitra Achra is actually already feeding off the corruption of the das itself. The snake was crafty. In other words, now I talk about the snake. That's the really source of the tumah, that it sucks off the das from the chokhmah. Hainu, the das of Sitra Achra that feeds off from the faltering, from the spoiling of the Das Kedusha, that has been spoiled because of the achzorius, the cruelty, and therefore the midas hakas. What that leads to, Bachas when Taivas Niyuf. When the Das is pogrom, Taivas Niyuf, because the moyach umechitza prusa b'fnei Taivazo seichel. The moyach is really a wall that is blocking this particular taiva. And Chazal said, a person does not do an avera unless he's being overcome with the spirit of folly, of stupidity. What do you think? There's no Olam Haba. There's no punishment. Yeah, but no, but what? No, what? That person makes himself stupid, so it's just a little bit. A tipshis. I don't talk about others, talk about me. Tipshis. So let's say that now doesn't count. The referee whistled, the play is dead. Okay, now it's time out. Now you can talk. There's no such thing as time out in life. There's no, okay, now I'm whistling and I'm blowing my whistle and I can do whatever it is I want. That now what I'm going to do now doesn't count. Doesn't come into the cheshbon of din the cheshbon and life and then. And I can knock on my head till the cows come home. I still don't get it. Stupid is as stupid does, right? Ein adam oiver avero, elka nichnas beruach shtus. Al shada moach v'das sholem, but the das is sholem, the moach is sholem. As again, it's a shield, protects a person from this particular type. Rabbeinu says because there are shloisha moichin. There are three kinds of moichin: chokhmah, bina, and das. Each one of them, in and on its own, is a shield that protects from this particular time. From these three different kind of mentalities, Chazal said al the pasuk, Avimelech told Avraham Avinu, I want you to have Rachmanis, don't, Tishkol li, Velunini, Velunechdi. If you will, give me an oath that you won't harm me, or my son, or my grandson. Why does he mention these three? Me, my son, and my grandson. Why is the word about the grandson? Or the grandson? So, Chazal says, Adkan Rachamei Aval Haben. This is natural Rachmanis of a father on his offspring is until the third generation. Well, son and the grandson. This is Shlosha Mina Rachmanis on himself, on his son, and on his grandson. Then Nimshachim B'Shloisha Mechin Shesh La'olam. They are coming from the three type of mechin that a person has. In other words, what is the thing that actually creates the moich of the ben? The moich of his father. In fact, every bechina by the son comes from the moich of the father, especially the ben. Even the toenail of the son comes from the moich of the father. Baal Tanya speaks about that. That's also the uses. So the fact that the son comes from the father, and the father, of course, that's his own mind. The son comes from his mind, and the grandson comes from his mind. There's three mina emotion that the person has. It comes three mina rachmanis. From there, you have three tefillas beyond, three davening during the day. You call tefillah b'chinas moach miyuchad. Every single tefillah is a specific moach the person has. Me'elo shlosha mochim. B'chinas shlosha mina rachmanis atavim b'moach. These are the three kinds of rachamim, the rachmanis that have been installed in the moach. Kikara tefillah and rachamim tachanunim. When they get damaged, there's an overcoming of gam adas, gam chas v'sholem, gam tavas niyuf, and then a person cannot daven b'chinas rachamim v'tachanunim chas v'chalila. And this is very important. When the das is being damaged, is being corrupted, it's not possible to daven the bechina of rachamim et tachanunim. Then the tefillah becomes a din. Tefillah should be rachamim, right? Tefillah should be, you should bear Kodesh Baruch Hu, it's rachamim. It becomes din. It becomes demanding, right? Hey, what's going on with that? You know? Yeah, as Mosai, what's going on here? That's not rachamim. That's a tefillah b'chinas din. When a person does a tefillah because he has to daven tzad din, listen, if I don't daven, I'll be punished because I didn't daven shachar, I didn't daven mincha, I didn't daven mar, whatever. So this is not really tefillah b'chinas rachamim. We'll talk a little bit. There are many different kind of bechinas of tefillah b'chinas din. There's a tefillah b'chinas din when a person davens because he simply has to. You know, if I know that I won't get punished and one night they can take away from me, why should I go and daven? Well, I have nothing to do. I can sleep at that time, or I'll do something, whatever. A person goes to shul. When I say I have to, this is one tefillah b'chinas din. There's another tefillah b'chinas din when a person demands. I'm sorry, that's not right. What did I do to deserve it? It was like the whole thing was like that was a b'chinas din. But we also have, as we will discover now, there's another tefillah b'chinas din, which is something which is done purposefully. Pinchas also daven a tefillah b'chinas din. Yamod Pinchas v'follow. You know, after this whole Meiser and Zimri, Hashem Yirachem, and everything, they went. This is Vayamod Pinchas v'follow. Rashi says, Melamed also plilus in koinai. He went into a confrontation, as it were, with the Kodesh Baruch Hu. Now, when the tefillah, you're asking Kodesh Baruch Hu, demanding from Kodesh Baruch Hu, confronting Kevechol Kodesh Baruch Hu, that tefillah b'chinas din. Now, tefillah is a connection between a person and the Kodesh Baruch Hu. Tefillah is the thing that causes Rahmanas to go between a Kodesh Baruch Hu and a person. Now, the Sitra Achra, remember, can only feed off the Kedusha. It does not feed off anything else because there is nothing else to feed. There's nothing else that feeds except the Kedusha. It has to find, where you learned in Teres HaMechbeis, that the Sitra Achra is looking for cracks in the armor, chinks in the armor of the Kedusha to suck off, to feed. From there. Tefillah b'chinas din, that for the Sitra Achra, what heroin is for an addict. This is it. This is the name of the game. כשהתפילה מבחינת דין, אז הסטרא אחרא בעולה של התפילה. סטרא אחרא יכול swallow זה תפילה, חס ושלום. היא כעיניקה סטרא אחרא מבחינת דינים, the main, access סטרא אחרא has to tefillah is from the dinim. זה מרחין דקרקטנוס, מבחינת אלוקים. שם אלוקים is dinim. ולכן נחזים חס ושלום בתפילה מבחינת דין, ובולעים אותה חס ושלום. This is one of the most important concepts that needs to be understood. There's one Pchinas Tefillah when a person begs the Kadosh Baruch Hu, asks the Kadosh Baruch Hu. There's sometimes when, as we will learn here, that the tzaddik has to come and dafka daven such a tefillah, which is Pchinas Din. But the Sitra Achra swallows it. It does. Sitra cannot prevent itself, cannot hold itself back from swallowing it. As we will learn on Yitzhak, this is the end of the Sitra Achra. Sitra Achra can swallow Kedusha from me, from you, from anybody else, except from the tzaddik. It swallows the tzaddik, but it cannot ingest it. It gets stuck. Like somebody drinks something, and that something is like so, I don't know, so acerbic, so sour, or so hot, or so acidic, that a person can't even swallow it. You know what I'm saying? You can't swallow and you can't take it out. It's like it's too deep inside. It's like stuck. The tefillah of the tzaddik, it looks like dinim. Tefillah Pchinas din. Sitra Achra has to grab onto it. It swallows it up. That's the end of Sitra Achra, as we will learn in Mitzvah Shem Vayta. But what we have learned over here is something that we need to keep in mind, because it is very important for us to use. And that is that many times you may find yourself with practically zero impetus to daven. Supposed to make his way to this for an hour. I'll actually do it for a minute. 2 minutes. And even this, I feel I have no motivation. I feel no. So that concept of tefillah, Pchinas din, right? I come, I say the words that I say. There's no geschmack in them. There's no motivation in them. There's no kavanah in them. Whatever it is that the quote unquote isn't in them. But l'maisa, you need to understand that this tefillah Pchinas din is something that you need to do as well. Like the tzaddik does, you need to do it as well. What it means is you come to Kodesh Baruch Hu and you ask him, please help me. Give it to you. Now, what you said was bland, had no geschmack, had no, but that's what you can do. Right now, that's what you can do. You can infuse this tefillah Pchinas din with Rahmanis, with the emuna that HaKadosh Baruch Hu hears me. HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows that I mean it, and I believe HaKadosh Baruch Hu hears it. Because everybody knows that when you were davening and mishmak and you're really putting everything that you have into it, HaKadosh Baruch Hu listens to you and you're being good. Sorry about that. You're being good and you're succeeding and whatever. But there are times in your life where you're feeling like davening or doing anything in Yiddishkeit, like you're wishing to bang your head against the wall, which means not so much. I don't know, some people maybe they like to bang their heads against the wall, but most people that I know, that's not their cup of tea. The cup of tea is my cup of tea. It's an extraordinarily important concept to understand that even when you talk to Kadosh Baruch Hu with zero chesed, the Sitra Achra wants you to feel, that's not tefillah. That's not called davening. Come on, who are you kidding? What is this? You call this davening? The answer is, it's between me and the Kadosh Baruch Hu. And I believe that the Kadosh Baruch Hu is so great, and his Rachmanis is so great, that he hears everything that I say, even when I say it with zero chayas, zero seres. But it's not because I don't care. I'm trying to touch on the kuda, which is a bit subtle, so pay attention to it. Even though they might say, why am I not davening Bivika? Because I don't care, quote unquote. I want to get it over with. But inside myself, I wish I did care. I want to daven properly. Well, I want to waste my time. I want to waste just to mumble the words. That's what I want to do with my life. What kind of nonsense is this? But I can't want right now. Everybody passes these kind of times in their lives. So if the only thing that works is just like cry out with all your koyach, and you can't cry out with all your koyach because you have no koyach and don't even want to cry out with all your koyach, so what's going to be with you? The answer is believe in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Believe in the tzaddikim. Just do what you can. Do what you can. The koyach of the tefillah tzaddik, the tefillah as we learn, tefillah b'chinas din of the tzaddik, it's himself, all the kedusha will come out. Don't give up. On Monday nights, we have a Zoom meeting of where it's more open, everybody talks, everybody asks questions, whatever it is. We learn Eitzes and Mevoros, Likutey Eitzes. So I send out a notice in what we're going to read, and I read it, and then people ask questions. And we're able to, to sort of like understand all kinds of bechinas of what does emunah mean, what does tefillah mean, what is, how much you should insist on tefillah, and so forth and so on, and everything that. And to understand that there's no such thing as a tefillah that is unanswered. All the tefillahs are accepted, all the tefillahs are answered. They may not be answered the way that we expect them to be answered, because We don't know what the Kodesh Baruch Hu wants. So wait, I don't understand. So how do we know when to stop davening, right? Because doesn't want it, So what am I doing? Rabbi says not to be an action, right? No, not to press Kadosh Baruch Hu, not to push Kadosh Baruch Hu to a corner. So how do you know when to stop davening? The answer is never. Until Kadosh Baruch Hu shows me, b'chush, that I'm not supposed to have what it is I'm davening for, I continue davening. And I continue davening for it. Yeah, but I don't feel okay, so you're doing it without it. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is so great that he can hear it, feel it, even when you 99.999% don't mean it. But there is a nakuda where you do mean it. HaKadosh Baruch Hu hears it and he listens to you. This is the union of Nakudas Tovas, the Rebbe says in Torah RPB, right? Fresh Pay Base. Nakudas Tovas. When you believe in your Nakudas Tovas, you know when you daven, and most of your davening is barren, is dry. There's nothing there. But you know, Lamaisa, inside you want. You want to be good. And what you do is, okay, I know most of my tefillah is not the way it's supposed to be said on. Sitra wants me to say, forget about the whole thing. It's just not worth it. It's not going to that you call the tefillah, forget about it. No. HaKadosh Baruch Hu hears that 1 out of 1,000, 1 out of 1,000,000, Nakuda. I really want it. I really want to daven. I really want to be good. I really want to do what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants me to do. And trust HaKadosh Baruch Hu and trust yourself. It's okay. What do you mean it's okay? It's okay. You know what? Guess what I can do right now? How do you know what you're going to do? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong this way, maybe that way. But I trust HaKadosh Baruch Hu that he knows I want. It's okay. It takes so much emunah in the Rachmanis HaKadosh Baruch Hu and the koyach of the tzaddik to accept yourself the way you are. HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants me the way I am. Come on. I don't want me the way I am. HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants me the way I am. Are you kidding? And the sure you did is who Rabbeinu Makar Chacham says. Rabbeinu taught us that HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants us the way we are. What do you mean the way we are? You mean we're not supposed to get any better ever? No. That's Bichlal not what we're saying. What we're saying, HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants us the way we are right now. We cannot get to speak to HaKadosh Baruch Hu the way we're going to be in 5 years or in 5 madrigas higher. We can only get to HaKadosh Baruch Hu the way we are this very second. Just the way we are. To trust that HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants me the way I am means that I also want me the way I am. No, I want to be better. I'm just saying, everybody wants you to be better. Everybody wants to be better. But you gotta want the good that you have. You have to believe that the good that you have is really good. This is not the good that ultimately you may want. I don't know. But it's definitely good. It's definitely good. It is impossible to speak about this Nakuda as much as it needs to be spoken about. Because this, my friends, is Avodas Hashem. This is Avodas Hashem. Because Baruch Hu wants me the way I am. I'm good. I didn't say I'm perfect. I didn't say I don't have anything to fix. What's wrong is still wrong. But what's good is good. They're good. How can that voice of how can is the cause, is not Zorius. It's a Trachra. It's impossible to talk enough about this Nakuda. This is what the Koyach Tzaddik is about. This is why people come to the Tzaddik, especially in Oman. They get the feeling they don't understand what is it I'm feeling when I'm there, or Rabbeinu. The feeling that you get by the Tzaddik is that you're good. There's a certain Nakuda that you can't even put your finger on. But the Tzaddik, in the depth of the eye of the Tzaddik, you see a reflection of your own goodness. There's nothing that propels a person more towards Avodas Hashem than to understand that you're good. You're good. You're good. You really are good. And with this, you're done good. I didn't say you're perfect. I said this good is more than, this little speck. Doesn't matter. The good is 100% good. I'm good. If I'm good, I should be a little better. Somebody is good, yes, value should be better. Why should be just a little bit more? Because I'm good, it's coming to me. If I'm bad, then only bad is coming to me. If I'm good, good is coming to me, right? I have to right. I have to put, I hope that it connects. So as we said before, B'ezrat Hashem, we'll continue this next week. But that Nakuda about you being good is the main Nakuda of Avodas Hashem.